Hello, I am Madeline James, and it is that time of year again to do a 2023 recap and a 2024 goals discussion, and I'm really excited about this. This video is sort of gonna not be paired, but I have another video that should be coming out at a similar time for my sort of like planning how I'm going to prepare for my next book and like how I'm going to outline it. And if you've seen that video, or if it's not out yet, I don't know which one of these videos is going to come out yet. I had a whole complicated like web plan of how I'm going to do that. So when I get to the goals section, I'm not going to go into too much detail on all of that because I have that whole separate video, but let's start with 2023. And I'm going to be referencing this a lot because I have all my notes here and I'm going to forget it all. I think it's really important this time of year to really think about all the things that we've accomplished and the ways we've grown, and like, I've done a lot this year, and until I started going back and watching that video and thinking about it, I have come so far in the last year, and I am really, really proud of all the progress I've made. And even though there's been a lot of times during the year where I've been really disappointed in the amount of progress I've made and how much I've been getting done and falling behind on my goals, like, I kicked butt this year, and I'm really proud of myself, and I just think that's really important to take the time to really think about and realize and acknowledge, and not just feel super hard on ourselves for not achieving all of our hard goals. I remember last year when I did this video, it was a like, did I achieve any of my goals from last year? No, I achieved none of them. And that's been sort of like a running theme for these videos, is that like I aim for the stars and then like land in the clouds, and you know, that's still really great, you know? So let's get started. So my goals, and why do I have a W on these? I don't know. But so my first goal was to finish my blood magic project and start querying. And I did do that. I finished it. I started querying back in, was it like July or August or something? I basically started querying right around on schedule. That hasn't gone anywhere, but I also, and I talked about this, I wasn't expecting it to, like, I'm mostly doing the querying to learn, right? And I think I got that project as far as I can with my current skill set without going through and like, you know, it just kind of got to that point. But I'm really proud of that. Like, I finished a book, I revised a book, I got tons of external advice. Like, I had a lot of different beta readers, a lot of rounds of editing. I got like, I did 10 queries, the hashtag 10 queries on it. I applied to like mentorship programs. Like, I did a lot of stuff. I put a lot of work in for that, and I queried, and I'm still querying, but I did that, and I'm very proud of that. The next one is to finish draft 1 of my Magic Forged project. I did that too. I finished that like a couple days before Thanksgiving, which means I've like completely written 2 whole books since I've been like writing seriously. Like, I wrote books when I was younger, like I probably wrote like 2 or 3 more books, but they weren't like serious books. They weren't like plotted, you know what I mean? That's amazing. I was looking up statistics on the number of people that actually like, that sit down to write a book, actually finish the book, and let alone write 2 books. So this means I can write books, not just write the 1 book that I wrote. You know what I mean? It's a distinction in my head. So I'm very excited about that. The next one is start planning project number 3. And I did. I've spent a lot of little bits of time here and there brainstorming, which I think is the best way to do it for me in those very early stages of just like, oh, I have this little bit of like really passionate inspiration, let me look into this and like jot these notes down, where I'm just like building up some ideas and stuff. We're gonna be getting into the hardcore, like I have to, you know, figure out all of this part of this book now stage, you know, this year. I've started thinking about it. I've gotten a lot of ideas. I've gotten, I think, a lot of the fundamentals for it figured out in terms of what we're gonna do with that. So I'm excited. And then the next one is create a revision guide and start draft 2 of Magic Forge project. No. No, that has not happened. I did not finish that. Mostly just because I didn't finish draft 1 of my Magic Forge project as quickly as I thought I would. I think it took a couple months extra, and then I've mostly been taking this time to start, like, I pivoted on when and how immediately I wanted to start working on that. I'd originally imagined that I would kind of dive straight into a you know, a revision guide and another draft, but I've decided I want to let it sit, especially because I want to do all this research and knowledge, and I want to get to a certain point in my research coming up, which we'll get to, before I start doing that revision guide and doing that first big developmental edit. So that's going to be held off until next year. So I did not complete that. The next one was read books off my physical TBR. No, I did not do that. I do have a really good idea for that for next year, which we'll get into, but I did not make that a priority. I did not, like, I had planned, just like I am this year, on doing the whole TBR thing so that it would be easier for me to pick books off my TBR, because I'm a notorious mood reader that has absolutely no patience whatsoever in finding a book. So I want to just like be like, I want this exact book, find it on my phone, read it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to work on that next year. The next one was balance. I was really struggling before last year, or I guess this time last year, on not pushing myself so hard. I couldn't find a balance between like taking care of myself, doing stuff that refill my like inspirational well, my cup, whatever, and also getting things done. And so I did a really big push at the beginning of the year where I was keeping track of like exercising and doing actual productive stuff and relaxing and like spending time with my husband and doing all of that. And I did a really good job at the beginning of the year, and I sort of trailed off with like tracking it and stuff, but I think I've gotten to the point where like I think I've gotten a lot better at that in general. Like I think that showed me how to do it and how it's a priority and kind of pushed me out of that mindset a little bit. I still definitely struggle some, but I've gotten a lot better with that. So I think that I made a lot of progress last year on balance and maintaining that in my life. So we're going to call that a win. General recap for last year. And I have some general notes here, but it definitely was a crazy year. It wasn't as crazy as the year before, but it definitely was a crazy year. The winter was really rough with it being, I think it was the first winter both my kids were at daycare. Oh my gosh, were they sick all the time. Like I think I used like 2 weeks of PTO in the first 2 months of the year just because they were sick or we were sick or, you know, taking them to the doctors and all that. It was really, really rough and we were pretty drained after all of that. So that definitely was a whole thing. And on top of that, I had a pretty rough summer when it comes to like my migraines. I ended up mostly doing like a lot of sewing projects just because like my brain was so like I was just half in a migraine most of the summer, and I think it was just being in the heat too much. I don't cope well. I'm still getting used to the way like, because I was only diagnosed with having migraines recently and I only started having them in the last couple of years. So starting to recognize them, because again, my migraine symptoms, like I don't get a headache. I don't get like normal migraine symptoms. Like occasionally I get like light sensitivity and stuff, but it's normally like nerve things, and like sometimes I get really nauseous and like I get weird symptoms. So like trying to be aware of when I have those and the things that make me have migraines and all that. It's been a process, and I definitely think I need to learn how to deal with the heat of summer better, probably avoiding going outside even more than I already do, which is kind of sad, but I don't handle it well, and so I just kind of have to deal with that, you know? So that was a little bit rough. Let's see. I started sword fighting and archery, which is really exciting. I think this is one of the most amazing things in my life in terms of like a balance perspective, because it's like the perfect hobby for me. It is getting me a lot of exercise. It's getting me the right kind of exercise. It's like communal, so I'm making friends like that. I'm learning a bunch of stuff that's also applicable for writing stories, because I'm learning about sword fighting and different fighting styles, and I've been enjoying that so much. And it's just, I think that's amazing. Like when I do my HEMA practice on Monday nights, that's normally like 2.5 to 3 hours of sword fighting. Like we run some laps, we do stretches, and then we do drills, and then there's like open sparring, and it's a lot of exercise. Like it is a lot of exercise. It is pretty intense. Not always the whole time, but like sparring is really, really good exercise. So I'm really happy about that. I really want to keep doing that. And I do really like archery. It ended up not working as well for my schedule with my kids' swim classes, so I'm hoping next year it kind of lines up a little bit better, but I really enjoy it. So I think those are two new hobbies in my life that fit well and are good exercise, and I'm very excited about that. Started making some historical garments, which is very fun. I've sort of trailed off from that because I really feel like I need a dress form to kind of move forward with that, just because I'm one person. I can't hem things, I can't see them myself, I can't drape, and I really need a dress form, which I'm hopefully gonna get one for Christmas, so I'm hoping to get more into that again next year. But I've had a lot of fun with that, and it's taught me a lot about historical clothing and historical wardrobes, which has really helped me a lot when it comes to thinking about that sort of thing in my world building. More stress and responsibility at work. Yeah, I have grown in the amount of stress and responsibility I experience at work this year, which, you know, is good. Like, it's very satisfying. I enjoy what I do a lot. Like, I actually legitimately enjoy my job, but it can be incredibly stressful sometimes, and that makes it harder for me to do stuff at home. So that's part of where I have to find a lot of balance in recognizing that and not pushing myself. And if I'm stressed and I'm depleted, I need to address that before I can worry about being productive. So that's been a whole thing. Let's see, we went on a couple of big vacations. I did go out to, I went out to South Dakota for my sister's wedding. I did some trips. What else did we do last year? We did other vacations. I think we went to Pittsburgh. That was a lot of fun. We went to the beach. We've done our normal mountain trips. Like, I feel like I'm forgetting something else. But, like, we had a couple of big vacations. We are not going to be going on big vacations this upcoming year. I don't think we have actually any planned other than normal mountain trips that we do. Yeah, I don't think we have a single vacation planned, like a going somewhere trip vacation, which is good because we need to recoup PTO and save up, and maybe like the next year we can do something more fun, you know? I went on a writing retreat. That was a lot of fun, a solo writing retreat. Loved it. I'm gonna do it again this year for sure. I already told my husband that, like, that's what I want for my birthday, and it might be what I want for Mother's Day too. We'll see. That's kind of a lot, but I'm very excited about it. Like, it's just so nice to be able to step away and do that, and my husband is amazing, and the fact that he figures out ways to make that work for me is, like, he is so supportive, and I'm so grateful for him, and yeah, he's pretty great. My kids have been in swim class. That's been a thing. I don't know, our kids are getting to that age now where they're gonna start, like, doing stuff and having activities, and that's gonna be a big adjustment for my life. So all you other writers out there that are parents that have, like, kids in those years where they have activities, how do you do it? I don't really know. It's a lot. It's just, like, it takes your day and just makes it, like, 80 times more hectic because you don't have that much time in the evening anyway, yes, it's a thing. But that's sort of my recap for the last year. Yeah, so let's move on to 2024 goals. The first goal I have here is to focus on learning craft and really developing the process that I want to follow as a writer, as an outliner, as a world builder. And this is where that other video comes in, where I was figuring out what exactly I want to do and learn. And I have 7 to 8 months planned worth of work of research, planning, world building, outlining that goes into this. A lot of that is making videos. You're going to be seeing a lot of world building videos from me coming out for both my current sort of series and then moving into, like, cultural world building. And I have a lot of other ones that I want to do if I have time, but we're going to be in a learning phase, which means I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on it. So we'll be a little video heavy for a while. And when I switch back to doing more, like, writing, it'll be a little bit more vlog heavy focused, but I'm really excited for that. But that does only leave, like, 5 months worth of work, and I'm not going to break it up exactly like that, but that leaves me 5 months, which will probably go into 1 month of building a revision guide, 4 months for actually doing revisions, and then sending it off to beta readers at the end of the year. And this is my potion craft book. Wait, no, this is my Magic Forged book. Yes. Magic Forged is the one I finished the first draft in and that I'm going to be revising. So I'm hoping to get through again that first big developmental pass next year, which means it's going to take a little bit longer. Like, I won't be in my, like, 2-year cycle with alternating with books where I'm working on 2 at a time. We're going to be pushing that out a little bit, but that is okay. We are learning a lot this year. That is a focus. That's goal number 1. So yeah, I have that big revision guide I want to make, and I do want to go about it a slightly different way than I have in the past. instead of just figuring out these are all the things I need to fix, I want to have a stage where I figure out all the things I need to fix, and then a stage where I really sit down and think about exactly how I want to fix them. So that's going to be a big thing. Yeah, I want to be ready to start drafting Craft Potion at the end of next year, which means I need to get through all of the outlining and stuff, etc. That's 7 to 8 months of stuff I have planned. It's in there. I want to get, Magic Forged through major revisions into betas. And then that's kind of like the big writing stuff. So then adjacent stuff, I want to do a big TBR challenge. I have a plan for this, a better plan than last year. And I don't think you can, can you see it like right there is a pile of little cards. And what I'm going to do is they're going to be color coded, and each color of those little like coin cards is going to be like a different mood. And then I'm going to put little like cards with all of the books I want to read in those, like all my physical TBR books. And then I'm also going to, I could have like everything for a series in one, and then I'm going to put them in like a jar or something, and I can pick. And if I pull something out and I don't want to read it, I can like put a mark on it and I can put it back once. But if I pull something out and I've already said no once and I don't want to read it, I have to unhaul it. And also while I'm going through all the books I haven't read, I'm going to like, if I don't want to read it, like if I don't think I'm ever going to read it, I'm going to like sell it or give it to another friend or something, because sometimes you get books in book boxes and you're like, oh, I'll try that, but then like it's not really your cup of tea and you never get around to trying it, like stuff like that I need to go through. So I really want to do that this year. I'm not setting myself a hard goal of the number of books, but like I want to get into the habit of reading physical books again, and part of that is also going to be finding ways to physically read books, because I've been realizing lately that I'm not as, I don't know, in physically as good a shape as I was when I was reading a lot of physical books before. And I think part of the reason I've switched to doing more like digital books is just because I can sit in any position and be more comfortable, and it's hard for me to like hold up a book. Like it just gets uncomfortable when I'm just sitting there and reading. So I have some ideas that I'm going to try out for ways to like set myself up in bed and like have like little things there so that I can like be supported and be more ergonomic about it. So that's going to be a whole push. I want to eat healthier and exercise more. I'm not really trying to like diet or lose weight, but I'm just trying to get into better shape, because I don't think I'm super like intentional about the way I eat sometimes, and I could definitely eat better. And also I want to get in better shape. Like I'm really enjoying the sword fighting. I need more muscles to swing those giant swords around, so I want to, exercise more, get in good shape. It'll be a lot better for my body too in general, and for all of my various health problems, so that would be great. I want to get the kids' schedules more regimented. That's like a side thing. I won't really talk about that much because that's like with my kids, and I don't really talk about them much in any detailed fashion, but I do want to work on their schedule. And then the next goal is to generally survive winter sicknesses. I'm pretty sure that'll happen, but we're trying to be better about not sharing germs with our kids as much. Like I used to let them like drink from my water bottle. Absolutely not. After last year, like no. If they like touch something, I'm not touching it. I'm not eating after them. I'm not letting them bite off of my food or use my fork. Nothing. I'm not sharing any germs with my children. It's not happening. So we're going to try and survive it this year, and hopefully it'll be better. Next one is to save money and PTO. We really are trying to have a bunch of PTO left over at the end of the year so that maybe the next year we can go on a little vacation and have more of a safety net, because having a kid really trashes your PTO. So I've been kind of hanging on by a thread between having a kid, having another kid, and then having all the health problems I had, because I lost a lot of time just from all the doctor's visits and like all of that. So we're trying to get back into a positive place with that. I want to go on a weekend writing retreat, maybe 2. I want to redo my son's room when he starts school, because he's gonna start school in the fall. And I'm really traumatized about it, but we were gonna do like redo his room to be like a little boy's room instead of like a toddler room. So that's on my list. And then just generally avoiding the heat this summer, finding ways to do that, because it's rough, but yeah, I think those are my goals for next year. And I think there's definitely a theme of like the year before, I feel like I was just trying to figure out how to switch from a place of just making it through to a place of like taking care of myself. And now I feel like I'm like, okay, I can take care of myself, but I want to like level myself up now, right? Like, let's get into good shape. Let's learn all this stuff. Let's, like, I feel like there's that kind of a feel to it, which I do like that. I'm very excited about it. I think I'm going to learn a lot. I think it's going to be a fun year. I think it's going to be a busy year just with the kids and the ages they are, and like they're having more play dates and like they're starting to do more activities and all of that. So it's, and if we have to adapt, we have to adapt. Like, I had that whole period this summer where I was like, okay, I'm not doing super great. I need to switch to like minimal mode because I'm just like too stressed out and I need to like adapt for not having as much time. And I did that. And then we did a big push. We did the 8 weeks to finish my novel challenge. We finished my draft. Like, we can adapt to whatever life throws at us. We're gonna figure it out. But yeah, I think that's really all I wanted to go over for the year. If you have any like fun goals for this year, I would love to hear them. And if you want to share your accomplishments or any, big wins from this year, I'd love to hear those. It's really fun hearing about what all of you are doing at the same time, like whether it's like world building or writing, or even if you don't do either of those things, if there are other big wins, I would love to hear them. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.